I was someone who was never good with time management. I would always wait until the very last minute, like right before it's due to do an assignment, or would wait until I actually felt like doing my homework. Let me just give you a little background. I attended UCI from 2012 to 2016. I've failed multiple classes. I've barely passed with a minimum grade. I've been put on academic probation. I've repeated classes multiple times, specifically like Math 2A. I basically failed the maximum amount of classes that you can fail or retake during my time at UCI. At that time, it was so frustrating for me because I just couldn't figure out how to do better or how to make myself be more disciplined and how to just be generally better at time management. At the start of every new term, I tell myself I'll do better this time. I'll start off doing pretty better than I would before, and then I just go back to my bad habits of just procrastinating, sleeping in, skipping class, not paying attention during class. I would basically just go just to make myself feel better, like, oh, I attended class. But I never really paid attention during the entire class. So then in 2016, I did end up graduating with my bachelor's of biological sciences with a 2.57 GPA. And I was not happy with that. Even though I graduated and got a bachelor's, I just wasn't satisfied because of how I got it. And a piece of paper just really didn't prove to me that I was successful. And at that time, a 2.57 GPA with a biological sciences major is typically a pre-med major where I would apply to grad school and further my career in something else. But with a 2.57 GPA, it was such a low GPA for me that I couldn't be competitive. I had to retake my classes in order to increase my grades up. And I never really knew what I wanted to do, and I feel like that was one of the main things as to why I didn't have my shit together, basically, because I kept telling myself, oh, I'll figure it out later, I'll figure it all out later. And then when I finally graduated, it was like, I wish I knew what I wanted to do before I graduated. I wish I had goals during school, but I just was very naive to think that entering the adult world, I'll figure it all out. But honestly, it was also the same. I was still the same person, and I just really wasn't happy with what happened during college. I had my fun times. I was living in the dorms, hanging out with all my friends, meeting new people. It was so fun. But educational wise, I wasn't where I wanted to be. I got a job working at a family medicine practice, just kind of figuring my shit out. And then 2 years later, after graduating, that was when I was like, okay, I cannot stay working in an office job. I want to further my career. I want to be able to, actually be involved in patient care. And that was when I decided to go back to school. And I was so scared because I was afraid I was going to fail again. So I retook anatomy and I got an A. And I previously had a D when I first took it at UCI. And that kind of made me realize that, okay, I can do this. I'm not a failure. It was just, I had, goals, and I had a vision of where I wanted to be. And I knew what I needed to get done in order to get where I needed to be. And then I took lifespan of psychology. I took public speaking and I got all A's. I attended the orientation for West Coast University so I can start as soon as possible. I completed all the prereqs that I wanted to complete, and then I started West Coast University. And ever since I've started, I've been working on my time management. And this has been something I've been working on literally the past 8 years, so I'm not a master at it. And currently I have a 3.88 GPA. And just know that I didn't start off with a 2.5 GPA entering West Coast. I did retake classes, so my GPA was a lot more higher, and they just used the classes that I had and transferred it over, and those grades were usually A's and B's. Honestly, thinking back, graduating with a 2.57 GPA from a university and then going into nursing school and currently have a 3.88 GPA, I'm so proud of myself, and I'm so proud of everything that I've done for myself and to better myself, because of just thinking of the fact of just being successful and being more positive is literally what has helped me. So in general, with time management, there is no direct route. I'm not going to give you like this is what you need to do in order to be successful, because everyone is different and you have to find a way that works for you, because I've been trying to fit myself in this vision of what it means to be so organized, what it means to be time management, and I'm not that kind of person. And I figured out what worked for me. And that is how I basically became better. That's how I worked on myself. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you guys have not or do not know me, my name is Krizia and I am a nursing student that currently attends West Coast University, and I am currently in my public health term. And I make videos for nursing students or busy students, help you guys reach your educational goals while helping you guys stay fit and healthy. Well, like the stay fit and healthy part, I haven't made those videos yet, but I am working on it, okay guys? So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification button so you guys know when I post my videos. But I do want to let you guys know that I will be posting my videos on Sundays at around 12 p.m. Los Angeles time or PST time. Is that what it is? Yeah. So stick around and keep watching if you guys want to know what I've done to be better at time management and have figured out what works for me. But I will also help you guys figure out what works better for you. Before we start my video, I just wanted to say thank you to Carolyn, who watched one of my most recent videos on how to survive your first nursing core term. It was inspired by her comment, and she basically commented saying, "Hi, I love your videos. I'm going to West Coast University first thing next year once I finish my prereqs. Can you make a video about time management while being in the ABSN program? Like, is there really time for yourself to have any kind of social life? I've heard most don't have time for anything but study. I'm not the best at time management, and I want to prepare myself for it." So here we are making a video on time management, and with my dramatic intro. Time management has been something that I've been working on. I've never been good at time management. So I'm going to be going over some tips to help you guys figure out what will work for you and to try out different things. I'm not here to be like, this is what you need to do. I'm here to tell you this is what you need to try and see if it works for you. Okay, let's start off with the very first thing. The number one rule is procrastination. Do not procrastinate. That is not your friend. That is something that you want out of your life and to say goodbye. Like, I literally would not study for like 3 weeks, and then when I finally had my exam, I'd stay up all night, pulling up all-nighters, studying for the night before, and just to like do really bad on my test and to not have any sleep, and then I'd spend the rest of the day just sleeping in. And that was just a habit that I couldn't get over. I don't know why. I couldn't. I was just so unmotivated and I just didn't want to do anything. But the thing about procrastination is that you have to learn that if you don't feel like studying, you just have to do it. There's no way for you to just suddenly feel motivated all the time to study, because there's going to be days where you don't want to study. And that's okay, but you also have to learn how to get yourself up to get over those feelings and those frustrations and to just study and just to get the things that you need to get done. The reason why procrastination is so bad is because 1, it'll increase your anxiety levels, and 2, it's so stressful, and 3, you're probably not going to be producing the best work that you can for that assignment or for studying. In addition to feeling stress and anxiety and just doing work that's basically crap, you won't be able to retain the information that you're going over and that you're doing. And the main thing about nursing school is wanting to be able, not wanting to, but you have to remember the shit that you're studying, because everything that you're studying in nursing school, you're going to be applying that to real life. So if you're not retaining any of that information, then what's the point of even doing it? What's the point of even going to nursing school? What's the point of even going to nurse if you're not even trying to remember everything? Okay, that's what's frustrating to me. Next thing that I've learned about time management is planning ahead of the week. So basically what I like to do is I like to have a good grasp on exactly what is going to be happening that week. When do I have clinicals? What is due for clinicals? Do I have an exam that week for my theory? Do I have work that week? Is there anything else that I need to do that week? And because of the fact that I am able to get a good grasp of what is due that week, then I have a good idea of mentally preparing myself on what needs to be done. And so when you plan ahead, you just have a better understanding of how your week is going to be. So you're not going into the week blindsided by the fact that, oh shit, like something's due on Wednesday. You know, it's better to know things ahead of time so you can prepare yourself enough time to complete that assignment. And then when you know what you have to do that week, you can plan time for your social life. You could still have time to go out with your friends as long as if you get what you need to get done beforehand. The third thing that I wanted to talk about is figuring out a way of writing everything down on a piece of paper or typing it all up on a computer. Because, I'm someone I see so many people online, like with their passion planners, like being super organized with their binders and everything, and that's just not me. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest, that's not me. I've tried that, it just doesn't work. It just takes so much time for me to do all of that, and then I end up getting overwhelmed. But for some people, for you can definitely try that out. Some people like to create binders that plan out every single thing throughout the entire term. So at West Coast, we have 10 weeks of school, or whichever nursing school you go, how long your semester is. People plan out everything week by week, what's due ahead of time, like literally at the start of the term. So that is something you can definitely try and see if that works for you. But I just like to do everything the week of, just because of the fact that just works better for me, and every week is different, and sometimes they like to change assignments and they like to change things around. So that is why I like to plan things ahead during that week, like the Sunday of or even the Saturday of. So I've tried to also fill out planners. I bought so many planners and I would just use it for a week, and I just didn't like it because of having like another physical object for me was an extra thing to carry around, and if I forgot it, then I wouldn't write in it, and then once I forget it, it's like, okay, well, what's the point of me using it? So instead, what I like to do is I like to put things on my phone, on my Google Calendar. I'll put in when I have work, and when I have certain events that I have to go to, like appointments or things like that, because having my phone on me is just so much easier. I take it with me everywhere. I don't forget it, compared to having a planner. For me, it's just an extra thing. You could download apps on your phone. There's a lot of different apps. I'm going to be making a video on apps that can use to help you be more organized, be more productive, and to generally help you with your time management. But that will be in another video coming up. Another thing that people can try out is to create a time block schedule. Time blocking your entire week, you can print out things from Google. Just look up a Google time block sheet, and then you could print that out and just fill it out yourself week by week. I've tried time blocks before as well, but I find myself not completely following the time blocks, if that makes sense. So that has not worked for me. What I have found worked for me was creating a to-do list for that entire day. So I don't really set myself like time for specific tasks to do at that day. I just kind of say, okay, these are all the things I need to do. It doesn't matter what order I need to get it done in right now. I just need to get it done. But the main thing for every single day that I have is I'm going to have one goal, meaning like that's one big prioritization that I want to focus everything onto. The reason why I create a to-do list is because it also helps me break down my work. Yeah, so find out what worked for you to be able to create a physical copy of how your week is going to look and all the things that you have to do. The fourth thing that I wanted to talk about is spreading your work over a couple of days. And I'm someone who doesn't really have a long attention span. Like, I could set a good 2 hours of studying, and then I kind of be like, okay, I have to take like an hour break to do something else. And so within that 2 hours, I want to be realistic. What can I do in those 2 hours on that day, or, throughout that entire day? So I spread out, my reading for my classes or studying for my classes over a course of 4 to 5 days. So I have lectures on Monday. No, I have lectures on Tuesdays. So I have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to basically study for my class. So that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 days, because Mondays I have full day clinicals and I don't like adding extra work on those days. So I have 5 days to basically plan out my work on how I'm going to spread out my work, because when I study things split up, or when I break it down, it's just easier for me to retain that information. For example, if I have 4 chapters, that week, I'm not gonna wait until, that Saturday to read my 4 chapters in 2 days. Like for me, I'm not going to retain any information. That's not going to help you become successful. What I like to do is I like to focus on 1 chapter a day. So like on Wednesday, I'll do chapter 1. On Thursday, I'll do chapter 2. On Friday, I'll do chapter 3. And on Saturday, I'll do chapter 4. And then you'll focus your attention on each of those chapters, and you'll retain a lot more information, and you'll spend more time understanding information. Because in nursing school, it's not just about putting things into your head, taking a test, and that's it. No, everything that you're doing in nursing school is to help you become the nurse. That's the knowledge that you're going to need, and you don't want to be that nurse that steps on the floor and has no idea because you don't remember anything. You're taking care of people's lives. You don't want to go in not knowing anything, Come on. So yeah, spreading everything out over a couple days is what's helped me with my time management, because cramming everything into one day just does not help. And then, you get that kind of like brain deadness, like after studying so much, that I just like to be able to spread it out all in, over a course of a couple days. Try that out and tell me how that works for you. And again, that also prevents you from procrastinating. The 5th thing I wanted to talk about is set a time limit. If you are struggling on a chapter, just be like, okay, I'm gonna spend 2 hours on this and get what I need to get done during that 2 hours, and don't find yourself spending so much time over one assignment the entire day. Just because of the fact that you want to get as much things as you can get done in that day, rather than spending one assignment on one day, then the next day doing something completely different. Because when you're switching over, assignments from one to the other, it's like a brand new thing, and your mind is not going to be brain dead. It's going to be new information you're going to be going over to, and then you're going to be going back to it. So set a time limit if you find yourself struggling, over reading, because sometimes we have those days where we just can't focus, and that's okay. So, move on to something else. Try something different. You can actually, changing your environment is a pretty good thing. Sometimes I'll be studying in my living room and then I'll go to the computer room where I'll go be studying, or sometimes I'll take a blanket out to the park and study there. That helps a lot too, just being in a different environment. Because I'm someone that doesn't like studying at home. I like being somewhere else because it just makes me feel more productive. I used to study at Dunkin', I used to study at Starbucks, but since everything is closed for dine-in, I can't. So, move around in the house, go to different places, stand up while you're studying, sit on your balcony, try something different if you don't feel like studying or if you're having trouble studying. This one, number 6, is don't waste time waiting. One thing I like to do is when I have time to do something, I'll use it to study. So when I'm driving, that'll help me. I can put on a YouTube video on concepts that I'm going over my class. There's so many YouTube videos that we have out by Khan Academy, and a couple of other YouTube channels that have videos for nursing students that you guys can listen to while you drive. And some people are auditory learners, and so that helps them really well. And that is something that you guys can try too, while you're driving. Or people actually record themselves. People record themselves reading their notes, and they drive around listening to it. They work out listening to their own selves reading the content to them. So that helps too. So definitely try that out. The 7th thing is work harder. No, work smarter, not harder. Okay, work harder, not smarter. Work smarter, not harder. Work smarter, not harder. And what I mean by this is, don't waste time doing something that doesn't help you. So if you're someone who likes to use flashcards while you're reading, create your flashcards while you're reading. If you're someone who likes to handwrite your notes while you're reading, handwrite your notes. If you're someone who likes to highlight everything. That's the biggest thing about reading, is highlight while you're reading, because then when you go back, you don't just look at the big block of words. You'll just highlight the main points and be like, okay, these are the main concepts that I went over. These are the important things. It saves you so much more time. You don't want to waste time doing something, again, that's not helping you. So find out what works for you. Making flashcards, record yourself while you're reading. That's also helpful too. Create a study guide while you're reading. Do what works for you. Find out what works for you. Find out what kind of learner you are. There are websites where you can Google and find out what kind of learner you are. And that helps because everyone is different. Okay, everyone is different. And you have to understand that this is a journey for yourself. It's a constant learning process for you to figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. The next thing is, there's something that I would do, sometimes I would like, ever since we switched to online, there was a term where I would literally just have my computer next to me in bed and I'd just be on my phone listening, and I wouldn't pay attention. I wouldn't actively take notes. I wouldn't do any of that stuff. And then I'd find myself another 3 hours rewatching the lectures, going over the information. That is not helpful. Don't do that. If you have a time, if you're supposed to be in class, be in class and actively listen and actively take notes. Don't just like look the other way, because the more you go over your information, the more easier it is for you to retain that information. And when you're going over concepts, in the beginning, it sounds like, oh my God, like I cannot understand what this concept is, or I cannot understand, the cardiovascular system and how the heart works. Because in the beginning, it's all gonna feel like it's so overwhelming. So lecture is there to tell you what points and concepts you should be going over. So pay attention, because when you pay attention and take, notes and you're actively listening, you don't have to go back later on the next day and spend another 3 hours rewatching everything. You should just be going back to your lecture videos that are recorded or your recordings or anything, just to clarify any information. So, work smarter, not harder. Work where you need to work, and just understand that you're doing this for your future self. I'm getting towards the end. We have 3 more things that I wanted to talk about. And I guess this one's really important for me, and what I've learned is to just stop feeling like you need to be perfect. Because there is this whole idea that we have of what it means to be successful and what it means to be good with time management and mastering time management and being so disciplined. Like, wake up, I'm gonna eat my breakfast, I'm gonna go study, and then I'm gonna go do this and I'm gonna do that, like everything on your task. And there's gonna be days where you don't feel like you want to do any of that stuff, and that's okay. Don't feel bad that you didn't complete all your tasks in that day. You're just gonna have to adapt to that and then work on the next day. How can I incorporate what I missed out the day before? And that is just how I've always been as well. I beat myself up because I'm like, oh, I didn't do what I was supposed to do, or how come I can't be organized? How come I can't be like that person? Well, you have to understand that, again, they're different than you. What works for them doesn't work for you. So find out what works for you, and this is what you're gonna be, this is what we're going over in the video. I'm helping you guys find out different ways on how you can study and how you can work on your time management. And in the end, I'm not the one that's gonna help you with your time management. It's really up to you in the end. You working on yourself and you deciding to work on yourself is ultimately what's gonna help you become better, and what's gonna help you become better with time management. The last thing I basically wanted to go over is to create new habits. Constantly reflect on yourself. When you take that exam and you told yourself, I studied so much, and then you get that B, that's still good. That's good. At least you didn't get a C, or at least you didn't fail. But if you wanted to get that A, reevaluate what you did. Does that mean that you need to spend more time going over concepts? Does that mean you need to spend more time practicing NCLEX questions? Does that mean you need to spend more time testing yourself and understanding the information? There are so many more ways on how to constantly improve yourself. There's so many resources. Does that mean you should go to your BB Collaborates, your review sessions with your professor? You can go to PALS. You can reach out to your professor, on how to be better. Just know that there are resources out there for you that you can use to do better, and don't feel like you failed. That's a thing. But it's sometimes okay to fail, because that's when you learn how to get yourself back up and learn on what you can do to be better. So be positive and be proud of yourself, because you went out of your way to look for a video to see how you can improve your time management. And I really wanted to talk about things that were different from what I've seen, and just talk about my experience and what has helped me, and bring you guys to the idea to ultimately find out what works for you. And that's the theme of this whole thing, is finding out what works for you. So I really do hope you guys found this video helpful. And it wasn't like a clear cut, this is what you need to be successful. It was more like, this is what you need to do to be better and to work on yourself and to do all these other things. And it's not just a clear path. It's literally like up and down. Okay. And again, I just want to thank you guys for watching my videos. And if you guys need any help with anything, definitely reach out to me on my Instagram at ___. A lot of you guys have been messaging me through my Instagram, or actually even emailing me if you guys need any help with anything. If you have like literally any questions that you guys have, like just in general, like nursing school, or not even nursing school, or about life, or like there's so many things about life in nursing school that you guys can ask me about, and I'm here to help you because I want you guys to know that you're not alone. If you feel like you're alone, just reach out to me if you guys need any help any help. So thank you guys again for watching my videos. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really didn't think a lot of people would be watching my videos, but you guys are, and I just want to thank you, and I can't wait to make my next video, and I can't wait to see you guys at my next video.